Today I have a very special guest. So last year I really wanted to step out of my box, right? So I started doing local events and this was my first pop-up. And I went to this pop-up without like any pressure, just kind of just going into it. And I found this amazing entrepreneur and she really inspired me. And so I had to invite her to be a part of a guest in our podcast today. And this is the part for us as business owners. Sometimes we think we know it all or that, we cannot learn from somebody else. And I think it's so important that you always look for those hidden gems and what we can learn from one another. No matter what type of business you have, no matter how old you are, you can make a huge impact in just being you and following your own journey. So with that, let me introduce Jasmine. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi,
Hi, Jasmine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. So can you share about the story about what type of business you have, how this all started, and where you're planning on heading next?
I own a dog treat business. I sell fresh preservative-free dog treats. I've been doing it for 3 years now. 3 years. I started when I was 10 and I turned 13 in about a month. So
Yes, and that's how I saw your stand. You were there with your moms, and it was just so awesome. But I really love your personality, and I love that you just went for it. So can you tell us a little bit of your story? Like, how did this business start? Like, did you start with like, was it just from home? Like, how did this whole like process start? Because I know now you do like different markets, and you've been growing even more. So you want to talk to
yeah.
us a little bit about your journey?
So the business originally started when I was 9. I came up with the idea and I went to my mom. And of course, as a 9-year-old, I don't think anybody really expects them to like be serious about starting a business. So it took about a year of me asking until they finally were like, okay, like we know you want to do it. So they had me come up with a business plan. So I did, and I made 3 original recipes and I was talking about profit margins and a bunch of stuff that you would expect a 9-year-old to do. And I showed it to my parents, and they finally understood like how serious I was about it. So then for my 10th birthday, they got me a dehydrator, bags, and a bag sealer, and that was basically the start of Doggy Dog Treats by Jazzy.
I love it. And what have been some of like the hardest lessons that you've had to learn as you started your business to the point where you are today?
Um, I think one big one was you have to do more than just what you want to do. So though I really enjoy making dog treats, I enjoy packaging, and then I also enjoy going to markets during the summer when I'm not in school. There are some days where I don't exactly want to do that, but I still have to because that's a commitment that I made. And so you have to keep actually like doing what you told yourself that you would do, and it basically just it has a reward in the end.
Yeah, and I love that because it's so true, like especially in business, right? Everybody thinks like even for me, so I'm a hairstylist and I do videos and all this stuff. Everybody's like, oh, that's so much fun. Like you must love to do that all the time and then understand like behind the scenes, like you say, like you have like I don't know, I keep a track in my calendar. I use my iPhone calendar to keep track of everything. But it takes a lot of commitment too, like you have deadlines. There's a lot of things that need to get done. There's paperwork. There's a lot of like, there's marketing, which I enjoy, but maybe emails I don't like so much, right? But I still have to
Yeah.
do it because it's part of business. And no matter what type of business you're in, it's like the commitment that you have to yourself also into your business, which I really love. And where are you headed next? Like, what are your next plans? Like after like, being in business now for a couple of years now, like what is your next thing that you're thinking about or how are you thinking about innovating in your business now?
Um, Actually, we some big news that I haven't really been putting out as much, but by the end of the month, I'll be in Woodlands Pet Food and Treat. So that was kind of a big step. I'll be in all 4 locations across Marin County. So that was like that's basically what I'm focusing on right now is getting all the work done for that. So by the end of the month, my dog treats will be in there.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Oh my gosh.
Thank
Look
you.
at you. I love it. And like what was like behind the scenes, I know like you love what you do and this is like, something that you were really passionate about and you had to convince your moms to actually be able to do this. But like what else drives you behind this? Like when things get rough, part of being in business is that sometimes, things don't go as expected, right? And so like what's your big driving force behind everything that you do?
Yeah, I've had this conversation with my parents. When I was a little younger, we were talking about my first job. And I was like, oh, I want to get Starbucks. And they sat me down. They're like, well, if you continue to grow your business, you won't have to work at like a regular minimum wage job. You can work for yourself. And so that was kind of inspirational for me because they were talking about their first jobs and how they didn't exactly like clocking into somebody else's clock and being told what to do. And so that now that I have my own business, I probably won't have to do that if I continue to grow my business as I get older.
Yeah, it's so true. Like it has a lots of benefits for sure, being able to control your own schedule. Like I love how you say like you maximize your time. So during the summers, do you spend like most of like your summers like at farmers market or what else do you do for yourself like to have fun and to have a little bit
Yeah.
of free time?
So usually most of my markets were during the weekends, and then during the week I was at summer camp. I was being a teenager at summer camp, so that was fun.
Oh, good. And what are some things that you would like to share with us or to share with anybody else that listens to like this podcast? So my podcast ranges in age. So it goes from like 18-year-olds to like 44-year-olds. So what are some things that you would love to share, like also about yourself and your passions and just like your journey in general for others? Because it's honestly so inspiring how much determination you've had, even though like like you say, like some people be like, oh, but she's young. It's like, no, like you're determined, you're doing the work, you're growing, like you're doing the thing. And that's a big, big accomplishment for you too.
One thing that I tell everybody, sorry, one thing I tell everybody is that one thing that can be hard sometimes is the fact that I'm still in school and I'm a regular student. I go to school at 8:30 and I come home at 3:05. So from those hours, I'm completely focused on school. But when I get home, I try to put all of what I can into my business. My mom is a very big help with that. Definitely wouldn't be able to be still in business if it wasn't for her. She really helps me when I have like a lot of homework to do or if I have tests to study for. So that's a very big help on her hand. But also the fact that I don't work all the time. So like I don't burn out from doing business stuff. I will take breaks and I will put I like so like I said, I'm a regular kid, so I'll go hang out with my friends or I'll go watch a show or I'll watch a movie or I'll play a video game. It genuinely depends on how I'm feeling. So though I have the business, I still make time to do other stuff.
And I love that. And I think it's so important too, because as business owners, like burnout is always like a big topic, right? Like how much is personal and, in business without like letting it overtake your life. I love, look at that. You already have your own balance. You're like, I know I need to be myself as well. And do you feel like also like that kind of trickles into your business? Like when we actually take time to like be ourselves and be human and go do other things aside from business, it also helps us grow. Have you experienced that as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, especially because, like I said, my mom does so much for the business. So the times where I'm like doing other stuff, she will be baking dog treats, and that's such a big help. But also, when I come back to it, since I haven't been doing it for hours and hours, I actually, when I first start, I look forward to doing it, and it's fun. So I feel like if I had just been going and going and going, it would have gotten repetitive. But because I didn't do that, it definitely helps.
Yeah, and I think it's so important too that you have that support system and also getting help, and it's okay to get help, right? I mean, I get help too. Like I have behind the scenes, I have my coaches and other people that help me to be able to grow, right? So I don't do it alone either. So I think, like you're saying, it's so important that we have somebody else to support us too in like little ways so that we can still have a life beyond business. But do you have other passions? I know you must have other passions. So how do you keep yourself like focused in what you're doing right now without letting like your other passions or like, hey, I have this idea distract you from your main goal in your business right now?
I think that one big thing for me is because I genuinely love dogs and I love baking. And so that also leads into like how I started the business was because I grew up baking with my grandma and I love dogs. So I put the two together and I got dog treats. But something that helps me like focus on the business is just knowing how big it could get and the outcomes and the rewards when I'm older.
I love that. And for like 2023, like, because we're going to be talking a little bit about that, I'll share like just my insight from what I'm seeing and everything. But I would love to know your insight. What changes do you see with 2023? So right now, there's this whole talk, we know, with the economy, also in marketing, like on social media, right? About putting out more content. So what changes do you see for 2023 in regards to like marketing and everything, with everything changing at this time?
Yeah. One of the big things is, of course, going into stores, but also we are working on a website right now. My mom has been spending a lot of hours on that, so that's been really helpful and it looks really good so far. So I'm excited to finish that. I'm also excited for this is a personal thing, but I'll be finishing seventh grade at the end of the summer. So that'll be nice. And then during the summer, I can go back out into markets.
Yeah, I love that. That's so awesome. Looking into eighth grade, you have your whole plan, having your website. So you didn't have a website starting right out in your business, right?
I didn't. I primarily sold off of Etsy. So that's how I did most of my business.
Yeah. And I love that because see, I really want to share this too, like even for me. So I've been in this since what, 20, well, I got my license in 2017. So I'm going on to 6 years, gonna be 6 years. But I didn't start with a website either. I really started like marketing like online without a website. I didn't allow the website thing to like stop me, right? Because sometimes we have to be more driven and just work with what we got, right? And someone like I love what you're saying about the whole like, going to markets and to stores. And even though like a lot of my business is online, last year I really focused on, networking. So I started going to like local networking events. And that really helped me just to kind of get, we get our face right out into the community and out into other business owners. And you never know who you're going to connect with, like it's interesting. Like for me, it was very interesting. People knew what my business was, even though like I don't really know their face. I knew their business, but I didn't know the face to the
Yeah.
business. So it's always nice to connect. Like that's how I was able to connect with you. And just, like you sharing your little bit of a glimpse of your story, which was very impactful for me too. And so some of the changes, so I love that you're doing that. So you're going to be doing more of the markets and everything. So in regards to websites, since you mentioned website, I'll give you guys a little tip. Okay. So for one of my businesses, which is Sonoma Mobile Lounge, which is for like the photo booths and like the hairstyling. So I have a website. And SEO really works. So that's search engine optimization. So when people go to Google and type in a word or a phrase, right? That's when you pop up. So working a lot on SEO really helped my business a lot. Like I get so many inquiries a month on that website just on SEO. So that's why I don't do a lot of posting on my Instagram on that account, is because really my website is the one who does all of that for me, right? So I don't have to be living on Instagram and worrying about posting content all the time on that.
Yeah.
So yeah. And how do you handle that also, like with the pressure of like, how people always like posting and all the experts like post as many times a day? Like how do you handle that in your own business?
My mom does a lot of the social media. She does a lot for business genuinely. This is like I definitely wouldn't be able to do it without her. I'm trying to get better at like posting and stuff. It's never come like super naturally for me. So she does a lot of the media stuff, but definitely one thing that I learned is that like it kind of has to be like not exactly a schedule, but like kind of a schedule to keep people hooked. So that's one thing that
Yeah, and it's so true. Like using consistency. Like if you're gonna show up, like even if it's just like once a week, they know, hey, she comes on once a week. I can go check out there's something new in that page. And like that's so true. It's so important to be consistent. I know on my other page, I show up way more. I show up like 5 times a week. And that one but is for different purposes, right? So like you say, it's like what's the purpose behind it? And I also love how much your business has been able to grow, when you're focused on like more of what's working rather than, what everybody's telling us to do or what everybody else is doing, which is awesome. So, is there anything else that you want to share with us? I mean, I just really loved your story. I just love that for you, like in your journey, it wasn't like an automatic yes. Because I think sometimes people expect or think that, oh, it was so easy for her, like mom said yes, and like, oh, yeah, we're going to do everything. Like, you really had to fight for your business. But like, no, like, I'm being serious. I know I'm young, but you were able to fight for what you wanted. So what would you do for other people to be inspired by this? Because it's so inspiring, because even for me, like I'm about to be 37 years old. Sometimes it's really, like I feel stuck and I'm like, oh my gosh, can I keep doing this? Should I go with this next big idea or this next thing I want to go to? So what would be your word of encouragement based on your story and everything that you've learned so far in your business?
It will definitely be hard, but you have to keep going. There will be people that tell you no, because my parents told me no originally, but you have to keep coming back at it because eventually they'll say yes.
Yep, it's so true. Sometimes we get no, and it's not the end of the road. It's just like, are you determined to get a yes? And I agree with you. There's been so many times when even my own husband in the beginning was like, are you sure you really want to do this? You're really good at this other thing. Like you really want to start all over. I've knocked doors for brands or working with different things, and I've gotten no's before. But it's not about allowing this one no to stop us, right? Like you say, it's like to drive you to like, okay, that's fine. You said no, or if somebody tells you something else, and you're like, okay, well, that's not what I need to hear, but you can keep going towards your goal. And I just wanted you to know that you have been so inspiring, even for me. And I just love seeing your growth. And I'm so excited to see what you continue to do in the next coming years.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, Jasmine. And thank you so, so much for taking time out of your Sunday. I know it's like the day for me. It's like we should relax day, but I'm like, I need to get Jasmine and the podcast to help others and inspire, because you inspire me. And I know you're going to be very helpful and inspiring for others as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine. Oh, and before we go, where can we find you? So, what's going to be your new website, or what's your Instagram handle? Share all the details with us.
My Instagram handle is at Doggy Dog Treats by Jazzy. My Etsy is Doggy Dog Treats by Jazz. And my Facebook is the same as my Instagram. And then you will be able to find my dog treats in Marin County at Woodlands Pet Food and Treat by the end of January.
That is so exciting. Congratulations on that. And I'll put all of those details inside of the podcast show notes. So you guys can just literally click on there and go find her, because she is awesome. And I would love for others to follow you and
Thank
see your
you.
story. I continue to grow. So thank you so much, Jasmine. Okay. Let's see here. Let's